Hello everybody, Anthony Gonzalez here with another weekly update. This was a quick week in DC, which was good, and really there were kind of three major things that we did. So number one, we had the Greater Cleveland Partnership fly-in for all elected officials and community leaders who wanted to come out associated with the GCP. We host them here in DC, and it was a great event. They were here for 2 days, met with folks from both sides of the aisle, all the way up to Speaker Pelosi, as well as some folks in the administration, just to get a sense of here's what Congress is working on, here's what the administration is working on, and here's how it's going to impact Northeast Ohio. So it was a great event. It was really awesome to see some folks from the district come out here to DC, and we had very productive dialogue. So A+ on that. I think that was a great event. Number two, we launched officially as co-chairs of the Congressional Futures Caucus. And what that is a caucus of younger members like myself. I'm the youngest Republican. Younger members like myself to work on issues affecting sort of next generation families. So young families and new professionals, what are the obstacles that they face? And to me, I think you can boil it down to a handful of things, but really it's reflected in the fact that many folks in my generation feel like they simply can't start their life, can't start their productive American life. A lot of that has to do with the rising cost of tuition and the student debt that results from the tuition. A lot of that has to do with not being able to get loans for mortgages to buy houses. The price of housing has risen, but also when you have a lot of student debt on your balance sheet, it's harder to get a student loan, or to get a mortgage, excuse me. And then obviously the rising cost of healthcare. And so you kind of boil all that down into one thing, and what you have is a society where, like I said, many folks in my generation feel like they just can't get started. They can't get married, can't buy a house, they can't live their best American life. And so those are the issues that I see this Congressional Futures Caucus focusing on and trying to advance legislation towards. It's bipartisan, fully bipartisan, which is, as I've said many times, I try only to do bipartisan things. And so I'm excited about that. And then lastly, we had a hearing on trade and financial services, and this was an opportunity for me to once again tout my support for the USMCA. The USMCA, I believe, would be overwhelmingly positive for Northeast Ohio. It would raise GDP by over 0.25%, over 170,000 jobs, and it would serve all industries, in particular manufacturing and agriculture. Two incredibly important industries for Northeast Ohio. And when you think about our farmers in particular, it has been a brutal year. If you know any farmers, or if you're watching this and you are a farmer yourself, you know that the rain has been devastating, and the trade environment has been incredibly difficult. And so USMCA is the one thing that the vast majority of people in Northeast Ohio, whether you're RD or I, seems to be very supportive of. And so I've been touting that for a couple months now. The good news is I think we've actually started to see some breakthroughs. In that committee, we didn't hear a single objection from the other side of the aisle. That's a positive development. Normally we fight like cats and dogs out here. And so for no real pushback to occur, I think that's a good development. And we've heard that Speaker Pelosi is more open to it, provided we can address certain things around enforcement, which I think is a good push, frankly. So that was encouraging. So it was a quick week, but it was a very important week. And again, thank you for allowing me to be your representative.